Check out the IGN preview on Mina the Hollower. Looking great. Why does that name sound so familiar? That Metroidvania?
Mina the Hollower hooked me, cementing its hold during a fight with a giant animated statue called the Duchess, mastering the hammers.
I remember why. Someone mentioned like a week ago saying, I bet you're counting their, God, what did they say about this? It was something crazy about Mina the Hollower. But yeah, these are Shovel Knight devs. I remember this now.
Mastering the hammer's charged swings, I depleted her first health bar, forcing her to sprout tentacles that burrowed under the arena floor before erupting where I stood. I died a few times, but by the 4th or 5th try, I finally grasped her patterns. I read her tells, strafing and dodging instead of squaring up, landing charged hits when she committed to an attack. Finally defeating this monstrosity with a glimmer of health remaining, I felt like I was releasing a massive weight, like I could finally breathe again. This fight encapsulates Mina. It's punishing at first, but only until you get the rhythm down, and then it becomes deeply empowering. During my preview, I repeatedly lost and reclaimed thousands of bones, which are like gold from Shovel Knight or Soul.
Yeah, I might give it a try. Check out Blades of Fire Blacksmith Soulslike, where you have to forge your own weapons. That sounds cool. Oh, this is like brand new.
As steel turns to stone, only you can forge it, wield it, honor it. Your path will try to kill you at every turn. Your fate will drag your soul to the brink of hell. Your purpose will demand more than you ever thought you could give.
This game came out like a year ago.
But steel remembers the hand that forged it, the heart that wielded it, the spirit that honored it.
It looks kind of slow.
And if you prove worthy, it will stand with you always. Tell me, warrior, what metal are you made of?
Is it good? The game's been out, how is it? Yeah, most people saying kind of mid. Make your own weapons, which is cool, but gameplay isn't anything special. It's a good idea, just kind of not crisp on the gameplay execution. Is the guy who makes the props for movies and TV still here? Exotic? Did you send me that email? Now I just keep going over some cool ideas I've had for things that I think would be cool in the set. It's by the Metroid Dread devs, by the way. Blades of Fire. Yeah, I'm making the email. Alright, so you found the email? Good, good, good. Is it the contact one or is it the Matt one? That works then, Exotic. Thanks, man. I saw a trailer for an indie Alice in Wonderland Souls-like Project Rabbit. We saw that one. I remember that one. Or, well, maybe not. What did we see? Was it... Oh, ants! We saw ants! What is this?
Shh. Be careful. I chased the white rabbit, and when I woke up, I was in a completely twisted world.
It's very Lies of P coded. Looks like it's got potential. It could be good. Didn't seem to have anything very special about it, but it at least looked pretty tight. Not slow. So maybe there's potential there. Didn't see anything crazy though. It's an extraction game, that's the hook. Alright, I'm out. That's an extraction game? How is that an extraction game? Oh, you're right. It is an extraction Souls-like. What? I told you. The age of extraction is upon us. Everything has to be an extraction something. God damn it. What do you think is next after extractions run their course? Didn't I talk about that? I feel like we've already gone through that. For the waves. We're in the extraction and what comes next. I'm pretty sure we had that whole conversation. No, it'll never be roguelikes. Sorry, RTS. Almost said roguelike right after you. RTS had its era, where everything was an RTS. And now, we just do not live in a world where RTS would be mass adopted, I'm sorry to say. It's just, there's no chance anymore for RTS. There's gonna be custom game modes like Fort and Roblox are doing. I don't think so. It's a very hard thing to do at scale. Those two can do it because they are multi-billion upon billion upon billion, so they can afford it. Restaurant recommendations in Tampa. What kind of food do you like? There's some incredible restaurants in Tampa. All just depends on what you're looking for. You're looking for Italian or Asian? The best Italian spot in Tampa. There's so many good Italian spots. As for Asian food though, my favorites are like Sushi Ninja. There's another one called Minano. Those are probably like the two best, I would say. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that would be better there. Italian though, there's so many good options, bro. There's one called Esposito's, which is a banger. That actually might be my favorite Italian spot in all of Tampa. That's a little local spot. If you're hungry for more classic Resident Evil, check out Echoes of the Living on Steam. I saw that one. Didn't we look at that one? Oh, this is not what I thought it was. This seems like it could be fun. That actually looks like a pretty decent Resident Evil inspired game.
Hello.
Oh my god. Terrible voice acting too on top. Holy shit.
Who's there?
That does look pretty fun. Keep that up. Ever talk to someone about building you a black box to have... Did you ever talk to someone about building you a black box to have you play every single console? Yep, Nick's on it. The guy who made our CSGO, fucking hydraulic chair. The game is out now. Yeah, it seems like it is. It was a year ago, and chat was saying that it was good. So, that'll be one that I might have to give a whirl. I've been getting into Magic. You think Outlaws of Thunder Junction is a good set? I'm thinking of getting some packs because it looks really cool. That was the first set we started with, actually, was OTJ. But we didn't start seriously playing until Modern Horizons 3, really, around that era. But I think OTJ is fine as an entry point. I'd say get precons first and foremost, before you try building your own deck. Because you know that the Wii can play GameCube games, it's also easier to trim the motherboard for it as you can get it smaller. Yeah, we were going over it. I told them that, like, there's plenty of efficient ways to do it, but I want it to be, like, absurdly over the top. So we are actually going to make it look like the Hit It Joe Doohickey. That's the idea.
Bang! Hit it, Joe!
So imagine this, but it's got, like, a whole bunch of, like, wires and places for cartridges and games to go in. I really like the idea of just having something super outlandish for it. That'll basically be our black box that'll play every game ever made. Just plug my shit in, get to use my physical game collection. Now, just to temper expectations, it's not going to be every game console ever. It's going to be the ones I actually have the physical media for, so there's not going to be the Zeebo, there's not going to be the Pippin. It's going to be my physical media collection. If it doesn't have the Ouya, what's even the point? Man, fuck that. I want to actually use it. When would I ever play anything from the Ouya? Like, conceptually, that's fun, and maybe we'll do, like, a spin-off where it's only every shitty thing, every shitty console ever made. But for, like, my actual core black box gaming doodad, I don't need them there. Don't want them there. Will it not have the Magnavox Odyssey 2? Are you even a real gamer? What the fuck is the Magnavox Odyssey 2? Now we're just making up things. Like the Game Sphere.
Computer Golf. Part
Holy
of the
shit.
all-new computer video game Odyssey 2 from Magnavox. Lots of multi-game cartridges, sports games, football. You've never seen...
Damn, that's so lifelike.
Educational games, mathemagic, games of chance, blackjack, and much, much more. Odyssey 2, another advancement from Magnavox.
That's pretty cool. Alright, I didn't know. I didn't know they had a game like that. Doesn't Magnavox just sell DVD players now? Ain't no way Magnavox is still around. That sounds way too old. The dark story behind America's forgotten electronics giant. How is it a dark story? What happened? Inside Magnavox Factory, how Fort Wayne, Indiana amplified America, then fell silent. Huh. All the employees got trapped in the games. Fuck. Horrifying. This is so, oh my, I can't believe this title's actually worked on me, and now I'm so curious what the fucking dark story could possibly be behind Magnavox. I'll give it 45 seconds to sell me on it.
It is 1919, and something is about to happen that no crowd in American history had ever experienced before. The President of the United States is standing in front of a massive crowd in San Diego. Thousands of people packed into an outdoor event. And for the very first time in American history, every single one of them can hear him speak. Not because they pushed to the front, not because he was shouting, but because of a machine. A machine built by two men most people today have never heard of. That machine would eventually become the backbone of one of the most powerful electronics companies America had ever seen.
That's cool.
A company that put a television in your living room.
Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh my god. I have one of these. I actually just got one of these. It's not Magnavox, but if they were like the progenitors of it, that's very cool. Wow, were they actually like the first to do it?
Television in your living room, a record player in your den, and in 1972, something truly unbelievable in your hands. And yet today, almost nobody talks about them. This is the story of Magnavox. The name Magnavox comes from the Latin word.
Are you LARPing as a 20s gangster? Why do you have that? It was actually a gift. My parents got it. They got it for me. They thought it'd be cool. And it is cool. It's one of the refurbished ones, so it's not an original. So they also upgraded the components, so it still does like record playing, but it also has Bluetooth. But it's cool. I think I really like it. So far, there's nothing dark about this story.
The name Magnavox comes from the Latin words for great voice, and that name was chosen for a reason. It all began with two inventors, Edwin Pridham and Peter Jensen, who had been working quietly in a laboratory in Napa, California in the early 1910s. Their goal was simple: make the human voice travel farther than it ever had before. What they were building was a loudspeaker, and not just any loudspeaker, a practical, powerful device that could project sound to massive crowds. By 1915, they had cracked it. They had developed what is widely recognized as the first truly practical moving coil loudspeaker. It was a genuine breakthrough. And that demonstration in San Diego in 1919, where President Woodrow Wilson addressed a crowd using their system, was the moment the world stood up and took notice. The company that came out of their work, the Magnavox Company, was incorporated in 1917. And from
This is a really cool looking thing here. That just looks like some fucking Bronze Age tech. I love that like retro feel of these type of gizmos. Yeah, it's cool. So far there's again nothing dark about this story. It's just kind of like the history of Magnavox. Maybe there's some kind of like corporate espionage and fucking murder. Who knows? But so far it's just kind of like the interesting story of Magnavox, which I had never heard of until today. Just wait till the Epstein files show up. Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta have the Mattel HyperScan at least. Is that the one where you'd scan the barcodes and it was little monsters? I'm pretty sure it is, right? Oh. I didn't see the AVGN on it. News to me. You do scan cards, but it's like for upgrades.
We got a weird one this time. It doesn't sit very flat on my desk. The AV cable cannot be removed. Connectors cost money, you know. The controller ports use the same connector as an old PC mouse. They've tried to stop you plugging other stuff in by having a flat edge on the connector, but this mouse has got a slim plug on it, so it's just not going to work though. So what is this strange piece of, which way up does it even go? This is a Mattel HyperScan. Wow, that's a noise. Yeah, alright. Oh, we were loading the loading screen. I was about to say, that loading time wasn't too long. Never mind. Oh, I like that pop at the beginning of the sound. Scan. Three of those are Marvel games. The fourth is Ben 10, and the fifth is Interstellar Wrestling League, which I think was actually made up for the HyperScan. Let's go for a one-player tournament, and if you only have the disc, this is as far as you can get. It's gimmick time. Cards. The reason why this is called HyperScan is because you have to scan cards to play the games. When you bought a game for this system, it came with a few game cards so that you could play the game just. But if you wanted more functionality out of the games, you had to buy booster packs of cards.
Oh my god, they were ahead of the curve. If they did this today, TikTok would be going ballistic. Scalpers would be flocking. Oh, Mattel was just a little too early. They were a tad too early. Oh, fuck. They just needed to keep it on ice for a little bit longer. That is the easiest capitalization off the gotcha brain that we have today. Nintendo kind of stole the idea with amiibos. I guess to a certain extent, yeah. Except you literally can't play the game without the cards here, so this is even more egregious and even better for Mattel had they done it in this era where everyone goes ballistic for gotcha and cards.
Packs of cards. Mattel knew that trading cards were popular, and they were hoping that if they added trading cards and video games together, they'd make all the billions of dollars. So when you buy a HyperScan, you get X-Men and you get 6 cards. 2 characters, 3 attack modifications, and whatever a strength room is. What a strange looking dude. So Mattel was trying to implement a pay-to-play model before keeping your console online all the time was a thing. So which character do we want? Do we want Wolverine?
Damn, they
I've
just
never heard of Lady Deathstrike.
Too early.
Let's go with I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike.
Is it reading it?
Oh,
nice.
It came up. Before I got one of these, I saw online that it was really impossible to actually scan your cards and it only worked 1 in every bajillion times. I figured that that person's HyperScan was just a bit junk, and if I got my own, it probably wasn't going to be like that. Turns out they're all like that. Player 1 Scanner Mod. Well, these 2 cards seem to be exactly the same, except one has Wolverine and one has I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike. I wonder if I use the Wolverine one on I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike. Oh, they're exactly the same card. You can scan more than one mod card. Oh, they weren't the same. One of them was better. What's the point in having the other one? Okay, now we got these loading times I heard about. This console stinks of using the cheapest of everything that they could manage to get the product onto the market.
That's not bad. That's a decent load. That's like firing up Rainbow Six Siege every time.
Ooh, what are the buttons? Oh, I got a block. That's not where I wanted to block. Oh, I'm not very good at fighters, but even with that, I feel
pretty cool. 2006, by the way. That was 2006, huh? For reference, Gears of War was already out. That's pretty cool. They cooked. They fucking cooked. I should play this on stream Someone in chat saying there's an emulator, so maybe who the fuck built a HyperScan emulator? There's always someone that's willing to make that kind of stuff, even for the most unloved, forgotten things. The Lost Media Detectives are on some different shit, pretty much. Which I think is cool. Might not be the case. I think the age of the inventor has already ended. I could not disagree more. Actually could not disagree more. It is... I think we are currently in the Renaissance. Thanks to things like TikTok, people can fucking hawk anything. But if you're talking about like quality inventions, maybe I'll give you that. What do you think they would do on Shark Tank? Who? HyperScan? They'd walk out with a deal. If you made a console, what would be its gimmick? I don't know. I have no idea what the gimmick would be. I'd probably just try and cheese a position in the market by just being like the... like, no DRM or anything like that. You own your games type shit. But I don't know what else I'd be able to do. You can play offline. But then in that case, I'm literally just doing GOG. So I don't know. That's all I could think of for the gimmick, the selling point. Remember the Google gaming console? And that wasn't that long ago. Stadia people got full refunds. And they get to keep the controllers. Oh yeah, I forgot they did the full refunds. That was kind of nice. I remember people grinded Destiny 2 on Stadia because it was super easy. We were in the same building as Valve, and as soon as we got it up and running, it was obvious it wouldn't succeed because it literally didn't work on our corporate net. What, were you part of the Stadia dev team? Stadia's problem wasn't that it didn't work, it's that it just didn't do anything better. So there wasn't really a reason for anyone to, like, marry themselves to a Stadia. Part of the Unity dev team bringing up Stadia support. Ah, gotcha. Hey, good to see you. Concord on Stadia would have been peak, would have saved gaming as a whole. Again, just too early, man. What could have been? What could have been? Just started playing TCG Live. Which deck is the best? I think it's still Dragapult. I think that's still the top tier deck. I could be wrong though. I'm still new to the Pokemon TCG. That's the one that I've been learning with though, is the Dragapult starter. Still mourning over selling my Shining Mewtwo card when I was a kid. Yeah, you fucked up. Did fuck up. Everyone did though. Everyone did that shit. I've talked about the hantavirus stuff. I was going over that when it was still breaking out on the ship. Please play the Dragon Ball TCG. I was looking at that. Is this a fun card game? Like, they have two different versions. They have Fusion World, and then they have just like the general one, and I couldn't quite figure out why. Because it's fundamentally the same game. It's just Fusion World is simplified. And when I was trying to look at gameplay, it's only this shit of people treating it like investments, which is so unbelievably cringe. So is the game itself actually fun? How is it fun when you can't buy them? Well, I didn't know that they were hard to find. But I guess that about checks out, considering everything that comes up is only about like the financial investments of Dragon Ball cards. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's just, oh my god. Ugh. Everything is just investments with cards. Fuck me. I can't wait for it to crash. I just can't wait. It cannot come soon enough, bro. Holy. How long can this shit go on for? I have no idea. I don't know. Mostly get cards to play, but I did get an Alpha Soul Ring because it's cool as fuck. It is cool as fuck. And if you would even know how the game is played, you're already different than 99% of these vultures. What would you rather have first, the AI crash or TCG crash? Let's not get carried away. Obviously the AI crash. That's better for everybody. The TCG situation here is easily avoidable. It's just sad what's happened to it. But the AI crashing is great for all of us. Is the Pokemon TCG giving you the itch to go back and play some classic Pokemon games? A little bit. I've really had the itch for Pokemon Snap, actually. I've been feeling very nostalgic over Pokemon Snap. Do you have it on physical? Yeah, I do. I still have my cart. I mostly just like the cave levels. The cave levels were hype. But there was no bad level in Pokemon Snap. They were all so fun. That's definitely one that I'm going to play through for the gaming channel. Pokemon Snap. Yeah, it was Nintendo 64. It's one of the classics. Wasn't there a Snap remake for the Switch? There was, I think there was just a new Pokemon Snap. You can get that Pikachu onto a surfboard.
Pikachu.
There's a Lapras out there as well. I think you have to throw an apple. Oh, you don't even have to throw the apple. It's just out there. It's bird watching with extra steps. It's interactive bird watching, yeah. There's a Scyther in there. I think you have to hit it with the poison. I can't recall. I don't remember how you get the Scyther out, but there's a Scyther in there. Used to spend so much time in Pokemon Stadium battling my friends. Pokemon Stadium, another turbo banger. Pokemon used to innovate, man! it used to have such cool games. Now we just get fucking slop poo-poo. Oh, hey you Pikachu with the mic? The little N64 mic? Yeah. Do not have nostalgia for Hey You Pikachu. It's a horrible game. It never worked. I have a terrible experience with it. At least not that I can remember. Ever play Pokémon Channel on GameCube? Game had so much content. What's Pokemon? Oh, I don't think I ever played this. This isn't ringing any bells.
Rico.
Yeah, no, I don't know what this is. What do you do? The fuck is this?
Pikachu.
So you actually just flip through channels and it's Pokemon doing things? How interesting. That's the whole game. Huh. Oh, we might be fucked. Look at that second video. Probably clickbait.
So what is the Pokemon game that you can't show on YouTube? It is Pokémon Channel, released in 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube.
Yeah, but I just saw it on
If you look up
YouTube.
any video of this game on YouTube, you'll see a little message from the uploader complaining about their video getting removed due to copyright strikes. And if you were to live stream the game, as soon as you ended stream, sure enough, your VOD would get striked as well. Not even Germa is immune to this. Uploads or compilations of his Pokemon Channel streams have to be censored just so the video doesn't get taken down.
Well, that's, well, probably fine, though. I think it's all good. I'm sure this channel edited out all the bad stuff. So we're probably fine. Yep, I saw the alien pic. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It sounds like it's just music from the game that causes it to happen, so they probably edited out all the music that causes it, would be my guess. I don't know, I'll probably have to take down the VOD, though, just to be safe. Whew, I'm getting kind of tired now. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a night. And tomorrow, probably starting Sly 4. Finish off the Sly Cooper franchise. Alright, sleep well everyone, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Make sure to smash that like button and thumbs up, ring the bell, tell your mom I said hi.